You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Legend.
I was quite a good swimmer, but I had a lot of problems with my ear, and it was the problems with my ear were caused by the Germans again. They landed a bomb very close to our house in England during the war, and imploded the whole building out, and my eardrum must have gone with it at that point.
He was born in Italy of an English father and an Irish mother, but came to the Bahamas 62 years ago and never left.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Shashina Wolf-Marcus, and as always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, the country now has a new Deputy Commissioner of Police. The swearing-in ceremony taking place this afternoon at the office of the Governor General, East Bay Street in the nation's capital. Assuming the role is Assistant Commissioner of Police Loretta Mackey, who replaces Ismella Davis, who recently retired. Mackey began her career in 1984. Throughout her career, she served in several positions here on Grand Bahama, including Officer in Charge of 8 Mile Rock, Press Liaison Officer for Grand Bahama, Commandant of the Police Training College in Grand Bahama, and more recently, Assistant Commissioner of Police responsible for Family Islands. Now, since joining the force, now Deputy Commissioner Loretta Mackey attained a bachelor's degree in secondary education and a master's degree in organizational leadership. Mackey becomes the second female to hold the post of Deputy Commissioner of Police. In other news, as the government moves forward with efforts to ensure that Bahamians are able to sustain themselves, aquaponic and hydroponic systems have been seen as a game changer in the agriculture sector. Tonight, the Minister of Agriculture and Marine Resources outlines efforts underway to make the industry much more attractive to the younger generation. Jamila Mizik reports.
The Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources, working hand in hand with the Ministry of Education to put hydroponic and/or aquaponic systems in at least 150 schools throughout the country. That, according to Minister Responsible, the Honorable Michael Pintard.
In Grand Bahama, we are 90% complete with at least 8 schools. And so we're very excited and grateful to all the persons who participated in that initiative. In addition, on the community garden properties, we also intend to put in hydroponic systems. We have just partnered with one of our NGOs who is contributing 3 systems. And of course, we have worked with IECA in sourcing additional hydroponic systems.
Minister Pintard says with these systems, there is going to be a shift in the way they do business in agriculture.
A lot of it will be temperature controlled, or at least we're able to control the elements. These are systems that are climate smart, meaning we can disassemble them before a climatic event, store them, and then set them up once again once the climatic event passes.
He notes that a number of other agriculture projects are expected to be launched later this year.
One of them is a large poultry operation that will be run by Bahamian entrepreneurs who have accessed a tremendous amount of resources to work both on poultry meat production as well as egg production. And we're excited about those projects. And then finally, we're working with the Grand Bahama Port Authority with a Bahamian group in conjunction with a Dutch non-governmental organization and energy company in order to launch a substantial multi-purpose agriculture facility that will be using greenhouses to grow a variety of products.
Minister Pintard says the ministry is also seeking to attract more young people to the agriculture sector.
We recognize that really the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world, and women are indispensable to the development of agriculture and our national economy, and so we're seeking to include more women in agriculture. We are doing this in part through establishing an incubator, which is really just a fancy way of saying setting up a system whereby farmers could be mentored, they can access resources, they could be paired with organizations or successful farmers that will transfer knowledge to them, and their hands will be held until they are able to build a mature operation.
Jamila Missick, ZNS Network News.
The status of the West End police station is in question tonight. Some believe it may be unsafe as a recent inspection may have turned up some structural issues. Reports coming into our ZNS newsroom that the West End police station has been condemned due to significant challenges. We've been made aware that there are mounting concerns that leave officers in an uncomfortable place to work. These issues include air-conditioned problems, mold, and termites. And the fear is that the building, which also has a housing quarters, is not conducive to stay in for essential service workers, particularly during the passing of a storm. Corporal 149, Director of the Northern Bahamas and the Police Staff Association, Lincoln Dawkins, had this to say on the matter.
I would admit that some of the officers down in the West End police station, currently they are having problems with mold, termites, and also the AC is not working. But since then I have met with my uplink, and there are contracts that will be awarded to some contractors reference to repairing the station. Ministry of Works would be overlooking the contractors reference to that. So the officers have no need to worry. Help is on the way.
Now, our ZNS News team has confirmed that 3 inspections by Ministry of Works has already taken place. Initial reports suggest that the building's windows and doors, which are entry points during a storm, is unsafe, in addition to plumbing and mechanical issues. The report also suggests that the concrete of the upper floor slab has deteriorated to the point where pieces have fallen. While the term condemned was not used in the initial report, it has been recommended that the building should be demolished because the cost to repair exceeds what it would cost to rebuild. The 41-year-old building has never had an electrical upgrade, which is also recommended after 30 years. All in all, the government's West End Police Station building exists under substandard conditions as the integrity of the first floor slab is deteriorating. Now, just when are these officers in West End expected to be relocated?
I cannot say yet at this time, but I'll be checking on that probably by next week, earliest next week, to see what is happening. To see that I know the budget has just been passed, so I'll be checking on that next week.
And he says, given these challenges, the officers continue to work to the best of their ability.
I'd like to thank the hard-working officers of the West End Police Station to continue to fight, and there's help on the way.
Now, we contacted the officer in charge of Grand Bahama, Assistant Commissioner of Police Ashton Greenslade, but he didn't offer a comment. But we are following the story, and we hope to get some information on the status of the police station from police officials. While the island of Abaco continuing to do well in the fight against the spread of COVID-19, recording either single-digit numbers or 0 cases on a daily basis. Officer in charge, Chief Superintendent Kenwood Taylor, says that since the lifting of restrictions on that northern island, they expected a bit of chaos. However, residents have been doing extremely well in continuing to adhere to health protocols.
The Abaconians are paying strict attention to the emergency order, and we are having our operations on a nightly basis. Businesses are paying strict attention to protocols. Yesterday, myself and Inspector Barr, we would have visited some 16 establishments. These are bars and places that sell food, and we have noticed that they are paying strict attention. All of the places had their license up and about. 2 we had to shut down because they didn't meet the necessary requirements. And so we want to ask those businesses, you know what time you're supposed to be closed, you know how many people you should be in your business establishment. All of the businesses were inspected by police, and they know the amount of persons that should be there.
Now, despite this good news, Chief Superintendent says that they are still seeing too much speeding, which results in traffic fatalities on the streets of Abaco. He is once again reminding residents to slow down and adhere to the rules of the road.
All of the emergency order protocols are being adhered to. One concern we are having, which is a vexing problem, is traffic fatalities. We have had 8 so far for the year. And I just want to use this opportunity to sensitize the motoring public to drive with care and attention and to drive within the required speed limit. The speed limit for the highways is 45 miles an hour. As you know, in the school zones, they are 15 miles an hour. Schools are closed now. We have kids that are out and about, walking in the streets and in their neighborhoods. So we want to sensitize the motoring public to please drive responsibly. Do not drive, do not drink and drive, do not have open bottles. And when you're moving about, ensure that you have some form of identification on you. You can have your driver's license, you can have your NIB card, or you can have your passport with you. It is now an offense to move around without an ID, a government-issued ID.
Stay with us. We'll be back right after this.